to bite, okay? And if you can show a form of confidence, like with horses, they will test it and they will nip at it. But a lot of time you're giving them the message, I'm not going to put up with any of your hanky-panky, you know. And that's not the be-all and end of it. I mean, some macaws, I'll put my head down to them and let them do whatever they want to do to the top of my head. They can't really hurt me. They can pull my hair. And once they realize I'm not backing off and I'm not worried and I'm not frightened, they will just say, okay, all right, let's, it's a level playing field, you know. With the screaming, that screaming is an extremely, and I'll tell you, it is a feather picking and screaming. I put them in the same bag. They're extremely difficult to get over. But we live, and I'm going to, picking this up from the first talk that I did, we live in a very negatively reinforced world as adults. When we were young children, we very much know to raise our children with positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is, if you're a good boy, you know, I'll take you to the park. If you're a good boy, we'll get some candy, or we'll get an ice cream, or we'll do this. If you're a good boy, good girl, you will do this. It's a positive reinforcement. When we get older and we leave home, for some reason we have to adjust to a completely negative reinforced world. And I'm going to repeat this again, and I'm sorry for those who listen to it, but I think it's you know, good enough to repeat. The fact is that it's negatively enforced is that if we don't pay our bills on time, we get punished for it, so on and so forth, don't we? We get penalized in some way. We get higher interest rates or whatever. If we break a speeding zone, you know a policeman's going to stop us and going to give us a ticket. It's a negative way of keeping control. Have you thought for one moment if we turned that around and we made it a positive reinforced world? In other words, if OUC was to actually say, you know what, Corene, you paid your bill on time. We're going to give you 20% discount on your bill this month. Do you think that would ever happen? Because I paid it on time? If they did do that, how do you think I would react? I'm gonna, whoa, that's worth it. Even if it was 5%, even if it was a letter saying, you know, thank you so much for being a good customer. I'm gonna redo what I got positive reinforced for. Being negative, getting those nasty letters in the mail saying that your bill it doesn't really encourage me too much, you know. The death penalty is not much of a deterrent for crimes, you know. I don't know what is. But, you know, or if a policeman was to stop me and say, Corene, I just want to shake your hand. Thank you so much. You stopped at that sign. You didn't turn red on right. It says up there, you abided by the law. You're a good citizen. It doesn't happen. So we live in a very negative reinforced world. So it's very natural for us to actually only verbalize when something is doing wrong. I teach dogs as well, dog behavior. And a lot of times what I'm saying is the only time our dogs, and not so much our birds, but most of the time is when they're doing something wrong. We'll say, no, Phoebe, no, or whatever, you know, no, sit down. No. But when they do what we ask them to do, we don't actually back that up by saying, you know, good boy, you know. And if we think we need to be thinking about this with our birds if we want to train them correctly. Otherwise, they do not know what is expected of us. And when a bird doesn't do something that we want it to do, it's because they don't know a lot of time what they want us to do. They just don't understand what it is. They don't have a mind of manipulating us. They're intelligent, don't get me wrong. Puzzle solving, absolutely up here. But they don't think to being, you know, mean. There's not a bad bird. Anyway, there's not a bad bird in this whole world. Have you got a question for me? Hang on a minute. I'm going to try and switch over mics. I'm going to get over to you. One, two. Okay. All right. Do you want to take that mic so at least we can? That's on. So at least we can hear the question and then I can talk about the answer.
We have a silver-crested cockatoo, and when he does something correct, we clap. That's all I was going to say.
Absolutely. And verbally and also body mannerisms go a long way with birds. You know the body mannerism I got you up on your feet and the way I got you to sit down? Birds understand that more. More than what we, you know, if we were to go up to a bird and say, good boy, and walk up like that, it's reading what we do and not what's coming out of here. So remember that, okay? Everything you do, if you want to calm a bird down, you use the tone of your voice, and you also use your body to make slow movements, okay? Just think about, I'm just trying to make you more aware of how we're talking with a bird. So when you go home, you might be able to start building more of an understanding between you and become less of an owner. I'm not saying you are, and more of a companion, nurturing guider. Yeah, okay, so we can hear this, so we can all join in.
I grew up in Flint, Michigan, where there's a deaf and dumb school from, what do I want to say, baby level to 4 years of college. Okay? And in the area that I lived, there was always a lot of deaf and dumb kids. So I sort of learned to use my hands, being not Italian, and to not project myself, which has helped me with the birds.
Absolutely.
I sort of back up rather than go forward.
Absolutely.
That's all.
You know, like I said, hand movements, if you were to try talking with your bird and not verbalize, you'll find they will understand far more than if you didn't use any hands and you just literally talk with them. The same go with dogs. Getting to sit down, stay. All right. You build the communication. What they do actually is they learn the tone and the words that you put with your hands. And then they read both. Okay? Questions?
Hello. Okay. I've got about an 8 or 9 month old African gray, and I can do anything with her. And I raised her from a baby. My husband's a little bit afraid of them, and so but he won't stay away from her. But he does that jump back type of thing. What's the best way that I can get him to interact with her without teaching her to bully?
Teaching her to bully?
Well, that's what she's doing. If she jumps up on the edge of the cage, he just, like that, you know, he falls back. So it's almost a game. So I'm afraid the next thing she's going to do is, you know, try to nip him or something like that. But he likes to interact with her, but he's not doing it the proper way.
You're going to get some exercise there. Okay. Basically, when you have a fear of a bird, when a bird has bitten you, anybody, that includes me as well, you're going to have an anticipation of getting bitten again. That bird is going to absolutely recognize that and respond to that. Like we all know, horses know when you're nervous of them. I would suggest that you start using a branch or a stick for your husband to get, what's your name of your bird? Yeah, Daisy. To get Daisy to step up. So what's happening is you're giving him a false sense of confidence that a stick, doesn't matter whether she lunges for it, doesn't matter. He's going to hold that there, and she's going to realize he's not pulling away from me anymore. So you're breaking the game down a little bit, okay? And she may be frightened of the stick to start with, but you're going to have to desensitize her to it and start doing some training with her. You are going to train her that stick's okay? She may go right